contributed much to the growth of the city. By every measure, the Port of New York is the biggest and busiest in the world. It is estimated that any 6 of the other leading ports of the globe could be placed within it and yet leave room to spare. Its ocean-going craft touch about 90% of all foreign ports, bringing practically all of the silk goods, furs, cotton, and linen manufactures, jewelry, gems, chemicals, coffee, sugar, and cocoa sent to this country. Over 5,000 foreign ships dock here each year, about one every half hour of each day, carrying almost half the entire foreign trade of the United States. The majority of the nation's important railroads, as well as its major truck lines, enter the port in some manner. Here they load and unload every conceivable kind of freight. The freight cars alone, entering and leaving the area each year, could fill 8 tracks across the continent from coast to coast. In keeping with its position as the leading commercial city of the United States, New York is also the financial center of our nation. Wall Street and other streets of the financial district are deep, narrow canyons of tall buildings, the homes of the country's great banking houses, the Continental Bank, the Bankers Trust Company, branches and agencies of foreign banks. On Pine Street is one of the 2 largest banking institutions in the United States, the Chase National Bank. But it is the New York Stock Exchange on Broad Street, America's greatest securities market, that perhaps typifies the business of the Wall Street district. On the floor of the exchange's Great Hall, stocks and bonds are bought and sold. Over 1 million phone calls a day are handled here, and each transaction is carefully recorded to be communicated by telegraph, radio, and cable all over the world. But commerce and finance are not the only occupations of New Yorkers. The city is a busy manufacturing area and the leading wholesale and retail trade and export center in the nation. New York's clothing business, the city's leading industry and 4th largest in the United States, crowds the center of Manhattan. Here are produced 3 out of 4 of the ready-made coats and dresses and 4 out of 5 of the fur garments worn by American women. The streets here are packed with trucks, while through narrow traffic holes, push boys guide hand trucks of metal pipe with clothing swaying from their racks. Clothing that...
And on the farms, you'll find the tobacco man practicing his art as in the past, but with one big difference. Backing up and guiding his every move is a 6th sense his father never had, the sense of science.
Well, this business of skywriting is simple enough. But of course there's a knack to it, same as anything else. Some folks learn quickly and some have to give up after years of trying. I suppose there's only about a dozen smoke writers in the country. Mechanically, it's not so complicated. Step up here and I'll show you. See this little trigger here? Well, that's a part of the pen we write with. When the trigger is pulled back, it opens a valve which permits chemicals to shoot out into the exhaust pipe. The exhaust pipe, being just about red hot, heats up the chemicals and makes the smoke you see from the ground. The tanks in the cockpit have to carry about 400 pounds of smoke oil. When we have to write long sentences, we use 2 planes. In our team, we have 3 planes working together. Well, we're off.
Switch off.
Switch off.
Contact.
Contact.
Of course, it's all in the viewpoint. The planes must be light and fast so they can be easily maneuvered. They've got to be quick on the climb. About 2 miles up, most of the riding is done. At that height, the wind is steady. In a gentle breeze, words will drift 10 or 20 miles before they break up. And the writing is done horizontally, the way you'd write on a desk, and not up and down as it appears from the ground. To make it trickier, they have to write backwards or upside down, depends on how you look at it. So it will be right side up to you on the ground. When he writes it, this is the way it looks to the skywriter. And this is what happens when 3 smoke riders go into action at once. They've got to give each other elbow room. But then, it's a pretty big slate. Phew! Looked like a collision that time. Had to be mighty close timing on that one. But when you get around under it, it begins to make sense. To make it a little bit easier, they have the words already written out, upside down, on the instrument board. But they've also got to keep their eyes on all those dials and instruments and smoke gauges while they're using the sky as their billboard. And smoke riding's got to be done right the first time. No erasing up here in the air. They've got to travel fast. Even a short word means a 15 to 20 mile trip. And it's nothing to turn around and go back 2 or 3 miles to cross your T's. To stand the terrific strain of turning and twisting, the planes have to be strong, yet capable of a cruising speed of over 120 miles an hour. Skywriting must be done into the wind, so the letters won't spread too much. And out of the sun, so folks watching won't have the glare in their eyes. These chaps had to do about all the stunts known to aviation to make all those little turns and twists. Vertical banks. Loops. And Immelman turns. That calls for pretty good pilots and sharp eyes to follow them.
Burley, Maryland, and Turkish tobaccos. With this change came a more discriminating smoker, demanding a milder product of greater uniformity. Thus, the tobacco man felt the need of a sixth sense, which would enable him to control quality from seed to cigarette, the sense of science. This was the situation when the American Tobacco Company embarked on its research program. Beginning with a survey of the literature, such as existed at that time, the program grew steadily until, in 1939, this modern research building was constructed to accommodate its expanding activities. Today, this building, housing America's finest cigarette laboratories, is staffed with some 60 trained specialists. Here, extensive studies are made of the 4 main types of cigarette tobacco, each differing in physical and chemical characteristics, and each producing smoke of different composition. For example, flue-cured, high in carbohydrates, low in nitrogen, yields more acids in the smoke. Burley, by contrast, more bases, factors which influence aroma, taste, and palatability, but cause irritation if not balanced. Within these 4 types is an enormous number of variations, resulting from differences in variety, soil, cultural practices, climatic conditions, and stalk position. To formulate a balanced blend, these differences must be evaluated for every crop and each locality. Out of this grew the American tobacco system of pre-purchase analysis. Experienced tobacco buyers make a survey of farms in all tobacco-growing areas, selecting representative samples of tobacco, which they forward to the laboratory. Here the samples are received and recorded, and the tobacco prepared for analysis. These samples are evaluated, and within a matter of hours, reports are on their way back to buying supervisors by wire, phone, and mail. The tobacco buyer, armed with this confidential information and his own ingrained experience and judgment, goes to auctions like this better equipped to procure tobacco of the required characteristics. At the laboratory, the job has just begun, for even with scientific selection, wide variations from crop to crop dictate constant inventory and analysis of stock on hand. For example, here you see tobacco being analyzed for nicotine and other volatile bases. After steam distillation, the total volatile bases are determined by titration. The nicotine in a fractional part of the distillate is precipitated with silicotungstic acid, the precipitate filtered and ignited, the residue of silicotungstic oxide cooled and weighed. The result is indicative of the total amount of nicotine in the sample. Other criteria of quality for which tobacco samples are analyzed include sugar content, proportion of ash, total and protein nitrogen, and many others. In addition to the selection and blending of tobacco, rigid standards must be set on all materials used in manufacture. This, for instance, is a photoelectric device for measuring the opacity and whiteness of cigarette paper. Here you see a test of the bursting strength of the paper. Cigarette paper is a very special paper composed of purified flax fiber and pure precipitated chalk. Wrapping materials undergo rigid tests for purity, impermeability, and numerous other characteristics. This one, a stiffness test for foil, assures sturdy packages. The control exercised by the laboratories extends to all branches of manufacture. Regulation of humidity and temperature, in addition to contributing to the sanitary conditions in factories like this, is essential due to the nature of tobacco. The nerve center for this moisture control is again the laboratory, which is in constant touch with all factories, conducting moisture tests like this, which are run on samples of tobacco from every stage of manufacture, and also checking the instruments used in all factories for proper calibration. Scientifically supervised manufacture of this nature helps produce a finer finished product. And from every
trained personnel. From classes like these come the men and women who carry the message of better farming and better living to farm folks. Here we see the 2 agricultural experiment stations of Puerto Rico, where experiments are conducted for the benefit of farmers. Here is a root of rotenone plant, introduced into Puerto Rico from the East Indies, and from which an insecticide, non-toxic to humans, is made. Experiments in perfume production from native plants are bearing fruit. Also, the culture and processing of vanilla beans. Bamboo furniture. Termite-resistant varieties of bamboo have been introduced, and by means of a vocational program, new uses are being developed. Successful varieties of bamboo are distributed to farmers. The Extension Service fosters the propagation and use of successful varieties of introduced plants. An objective lesson. An extension specialist teaches a group of farmers and 4-H club boys how to prepare a good fertilizer from farm refuse and chemicals. Here, farmers learn how to judge the characteristics of a good type of dairy cow. Topography does not favor the extension worker in this extremely rugged countryside. Though the island is crisscrossed with hard-surfaced roads, the majority of the highland farms are reached only by steep and winding trails. Regardless of terrain, few farmers will miss the informative discussion groups when the county agent is in the neighborhood. Good men, these men of the hills, tillers of the soil as their fathers were before them, but with a new zest and zeal and a desire to help solve the agricultural problems of Puerto Rico. On 9 demonstration farms such as this, result demonstrations are carried on and free stud service provided from purebred stock to improve native livestock. Here, farmers learn about tobacco seed selection. A demonstration plot designed to show how to keep topsoil in place. Poultry raising is encouraged. Through the Extension Service, farmers receive the full benefit of other action programs. For instance, trees from Forest Service nurseries go to reforest their lands. Here, the county agent is discussing a farm security loan with the farmer's family. To diversify agriculture, the Extension Service encourages the cultivation of winter vegetables for the mainland market. Marginal lands are proving suitable for cotton. The cultivation of Sea Island cotton on such lands is being fostered. Whole families of poor people find employment in these fields. Important as the farm itself is the farm home. Hence, home industries are encouraged. Under extension guidance, Senora Josefa de Morales raises and cans food for home use and for sale. Hard work, but this beautiful and comfortable home is the reward. Deft fingers making the lace for which the charming Puerto Rican women are famous. An art passed down from mother to daughter through the centuries. Hat making is an art with these women of Cabo Rojo. The Extension Service fosters these almost forgotten home industries to add to the family income. From these imported rags will be woven beautiful rugs. Farm women and girls are trained to do this kind of work, thus creating another home industry.
All of this has real importance in his day-to-day life. Because, at present, large volumes of oil are moving from the Western Hemisphere, mostly South America, to fill the growing needs of Europe. While other South American oil goes to the United States. Shipments to Europe from the Middle East have increased since the war ended, but are still only a small part of what can come from there. Shipping oil to Europe from the Western Hemisphere is not only uneconomic, but puts a drain on resources we may need over here. However, this situation is changing. As soon as Eastern Hemisphere facilities are ready, heavy shipments from Western Hemisphere reserves can be stocked. The Middle East can easily supply all of Europe's requirements. The oil of South America can be used for the job of industrializing our neighboring lands to the south and to supplement the supplies here in the United States. Now that the risks have been taken, now that the pioneering has been done, the way is open for other American companies to come into the Middle East and join in developing its great resources for the benefit of its people and of the world. A guiding principle in Aramco's venture has been the belief that foreign capital cannot justify its presence in any land unless it operates in the interest of that land. Fully vindicating that principle has been the mutual trust and goodwill that have grown up between the American oilmen and the Saudi Arab government. Thus, American venture capital is developing new standards of life in an ancient realm, where a people with a glorious past are now building a glowing future with their partners from the other side of the world. East and West are united in pioneering a new frontier of progress, serving the interest of the Saudi Arabs, serving the interest of the United States, and demonstrating the vitality of the American system of free enterprise. A system which, from this new frontier, is pumping into the trade of the world oil, one of the materials that is making a truly great contribution to our modern civilization.
As we push faster and higher toward aerospace superiority, each part of a weapon becomes more specialized. The Air Force calls for an integrated design approach to each weapon system. And so, many elements are developed specifically for one air vehicle. However, greater demands on the air crew call for ever closer relationships between man and machine. Instruments, therefore, have been a major exception to the weapon system concept, seldom designed specifically for any one weapon system. Perhaps the most important reason why most instruments are standard Air Force items is training. Imagine the confusion if a pilot faced a completely different panel each time he changed aircraft. Imagine some vital split second while the pilot adjusted himself to some new reaction from an unfamiliar instrument. Under the Air Force Integrated Panel Program, pilots will find generally a new look in instruments, but with a real consistency among aircraft. Pilots need the best balance between the specialized panel, which fits only one model of aircraft, and the rigidly standardized panels, which fit all aircraft but don't really do the job on any of them. They'll find that balance when elements of display and control are integrated with aircraft subsystems under the principles of the whole panel concept. In the design of the panel and flight control subsystem, weapon system contractors will establish procedures to ensure that all aircraft subsystems are linked effectively with panel displays and controls, so the flight crew can carry out the assigned missions in the safest, most...
Carry out the specific functions established in the mission analyses. Working with the systems integration people, we study the flight mode analyses to see where existing or developmental displays may not be adequate for use in our weapon system. Display development is in accordance with the whole panel philosophy. Our guide is WADC Tech Report number 56-582. We look for improvements consistent with the state-of-the-art advancement. We recommend new display developments only when they are clearly needed to complete the mission. For example, terrain clearance display is required for the low-level portions of our mission. Perhaps this radar display becomes a part of the flight control system. The pilot may place a PIP on the desired flight path so the flight control system can maneuver the aircraft for the best terrain clearance flight. These are things we must study. When we have considered each element of display and flight control in terms of mission function requirements, we prepare a detailed program for development of displays within the time requirements of the overall weapon system development program.
Hey, look at that over there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Joe, how's your rod turning on these days?
Oh, crazy, man. Huh, baby?
It's like a dream. And is it fast? Especially since you souped it up.
What'd you do to hop it up anyway, Joe? Oh, I picked up a couple of jugs over here. Got a real neat bargain on it. Oh, yeah?
You don't have to worry about money now that you've got the paycheck coming in every week, Joe.
I've got that job lined up at the Olympic Cleaners. If it comes through, old man says I can quit school.
Yeah, but who wants to work in a smelly old laundry?
Checking cases like this one, doing research, thinking hard about so terrible a waste of youth, so big a leak in our manpower reserve, so great a failure in our educational system. But the reasons why a third of these students will leave school without diplomas are not simple. You can't put all the blame on the individual pupil or his family, or on our schools, or on our economic or our social system. Many hidden forces may be pushing this Jack or that Jill to the point of giving up. Dropouts, educators have found, just don't happen overnight. They take years to develop. Let's go back to the childhood of Joe Conklin, dropout.
Did you talk to McGinnis about the new job?
No, I thought I'd wait.
Wait for what? Your whole life is going by. Pretty soon it's going to be too late.
Look, will you leave me alone? I just want to wait.
Well, what do you...
Joe learned quite early in life that the name Conklin was not something to be proud of.
Look, I'm doing the best I can.
That's just the trouble. You are doing the best you can. It isn't very much, is it? In this day and age, how anybody can make a lousy $8 a week, I don't understand. Everybody's making money, but you know, everything isn't good enough for you.
If you take after your father, it can only mean you're stupid. And yet a small boy needs a man to take after. Someone to respect and learn from.
I'm getting sick of this.
Are you through now?
And the kids are beginning to take after you, too. What kind of an example are you setting for them? They aren't doing their work. They're getting behind in school. I had to go see Joe's teacher the other day.
I'll get him to do his lessons.
Not all dropouts come from homes as unhappy as Joe's, but most of them do have parents who feel they are economic and social failures, who never read a book, who consider school a necessary nuisance, a waste of time.
He's just taking after his stupid, no-good father.
Why don't you lay off me? I'm so stupid and you're so smart. You and your smart family, you got two brothers on relief.
Even in those years, way back, Joe was in trouble in the classroom. He had a pretty good head for figures, but you can't be any good in arithmetic if you can't read the problem.
Arteries of travel are crowded with traffic. In addition to private means of transportation, the city of New York has interborough and interurban bus lines plying its streets. While underground, a municipally operated electrical railway system spreads through 4 of the 5 boroughs, with the trains leaving the subways in some areas to travel over the streets on giant steel elevated structures. The people of New York may travel mile after mile on this integrated system on either local or express trains for only 5 cents for each trip. By far, the greatest numbers of New Yorkers travel to and from work by means of the subways, the elevateds, and the bus lines. In the borough of Queens, the homes of the New Yorkers may vary in size, shape, and type of construction. They may be single homes or apartment buildings, but regardless of type, they are much like the homes of people living in the residential suburbs of any other large American city. Here one may see the same familiar supermarkets, and the same familiar neighborhood schools, and the same familiar milk truck, and on certain days of the week, even the same familiar family wash lines that one sees in countless cities across our nation. But New York, again like any modern commercial and industrial city, has its less attractive areas. Manhattan's Lower East Side has been traditionally the district where live the poorer people, as well as the newly arrived immigrants. The human story of the Lower East Side is a familiar chapter in the epic of America. Here have lived the people whose hands built the city's subways, its bridges, and its skyscrapers. Its tenements and crowded streets magnify all the problems of big city life. Yet, not all of the district is blighted, for from its dark tenements have come generations of American workers, men and women of many different national origins, who have given their lives to the building of America. And from it, too, there have emerged an amazing number of national figures, great statesmen like Alfred E. Smith, one-time governor of New York State, Joe Davidson, Jacob Epstein, sculptors of international reputation, George Gershwin, and
That's right, dear. Indeed. Oh, no. I was just trying to tease you. You know, I'll bet you think I forgot that chair you wanted me to get you.
Oh, Ed, that's wonderful.
Yes, dear.
And Ed, when you go downtown, please, dear, do get yourself a new hat.
Yes, dear.
The only thing you've had new in a long time is your morning shave. And do remember to get a haircut, too. It took me 4 weeks to have you get the last one. You want to look nice, don't you? That's the one thing you've always told me. Good appearance helps you to sell. Now that hat of yours, it's simply awful. Ed, are you listening to me?
No. Oh, yeah. Yes, dear. Of course. How could you think such a thing?
Ed Brooks. Could I sell you anything the way I look?
Honey, you're right. You're absolutely right. You know, I haven't had time to think about buying anything, but today I'll shoot the works. Hat, shirt, ties.
And you can change your brand of shaving soap, too. I know, you still like it. But you get a new hat just the same. Oh, and so you won't forget. Here's a list of other things.
Powder puff, a hammer, can of dog food, green thread, number 9455, marked down from 9456. Shaving soap. Say.
And remember, a hat comes first.
Oh, yeah, a hat, sure. Goodbye, dear.
Bye, darling.
I'll be right with you, sir. Yes, sir?
A pack of Reggie's, big size.
Ever smoke a pipe in the evenings?
Oh, a little bit. Around Christmas time with the bright red neckties. I smoke it a day or so, but my mouth always seems to get sore.
Mine did, too. But here's a pipe that's different. And I'll show you why. Isn't that a beauty? Look at the walls of that pipe. They're thick for cool, sweet, smoking pleasure. And this new bit makes it a real comfort to hold in your mouth. Besides, there's a double trap in the stem and the bowl to catch all the moisture. If you've ever taken a good pull at a pipe and had a lot of that goo backfire into your mouth, you'll know what I mean.
That's one thing I don't like about a pipe.
Well, the trap prevents that, and you get a cool, dry, mellow smoke from the first pipeful. Feel the weight of that pipe. Light as a feather.
How much?
$1.
I think I'll try this one.
Go ahead, fill her up. I've smoked a pipe for years, and that's the best sweet, mellow tobacco. There's nothing like it for a real smoke. Would you like to try a can of that?
Pretty good. How much?
15 cents. Now, most pipe smokers carry a brace of pipes, so one can be drying out while they're smoking the other.
This one will do me for a while.
Thanks a lot. I'm sure you're going to enjoy that pipe.
Here I am ready to buy a big 10-tube radio set. And what do you suppose the salesman gives me? The runaround. Keeps gabbing with some blonde. Practically leaves me flat. Stick around, I'll tell you the payoff. It's rich. How do you do, sir? What can I do for you today?
Well, I'd like to get a hat. Something like this.
There you are, sir. Latest thing out. Imagine that guy letting me fiddle around all by myself. Why, he didn't seem to give a hoot whether I bought that radio or not.
Say, it feels a little tight.
Why, I'd quit being a salesman if I couldn't treat people better than that. What'd you say, sir? A little light? Well, now, here's something in a darker shade. Very snappy. So I stand around, waiting for this guy to pay attention to me until I get sore. Just about the time I figure he's going to give me the old selling routine, I cross him up and walk out. Ha, ha, ha,
Ha, ha, ha! And that's exactly what I'm going to do here.
Now, what do you suppose got into him?
I'm very sorry. I couldn't help hearing what took place. I'm sure we have just the kind of a hat you want. I'd like to show you our newest stock.
Yeah, I guess I was a bit hasty.
Oh, not at all. And I know just how you feel about buying hats. Hate to do it myself. every once in a while, my wife clamps down on me, and I have to get a new one.
My wife's the same way. No, I didn't think I needed a new hat, but the wife insisted.
That's a good style for you. And I feel just the same as you do about an old hat. You get used to it. Wear it fishing. Get it soaked and crushed up. Well, you get to know it so well, you kind of hate to part with it.
Yeah.
Now, let's get the size.
Well, it's 7 1/8, I think.
That's right. Try this one. That hat looks well on you. Just the right swing to it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good and it feels pretty good for a new hat.
That's because of the new type band on the inside. It's flexible and adjusts itself to the shape of your head more readily than the stiffer hat bands.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It's all right.
That style hat is just right for you. Looks almost as good as the old one. Shall I send it out?
No, I guess I'll wear it. That's the sort of a hammer I ought to get for my wife every time she uses when she bangs her finger.
Yeah, that's right. I never saw a woman yet who could use a hammer without smacking her finger or breaking the head off.
How much is this one?
That's 79 cents.
Seems all right.
Yes, that's a good hammer. It's got a strong hickory handle and the head is drop-forged carbon steel. But, feel this hammer. You know, it's a funny thing about a hammer. Such a darn common tool that people never stop to think about the importance of balance. Here, drive a nail with it. If you play golf, you know how important the balance of a club is. And look at all the fuss a baseball player makes about the balance of his bat.
Well, let's see. Seems better at that. How much is this one?
That's $1.95.
Oh, that's an awful lot for a hammer.
Now, just offhand, you might think so. But this whole hammer is made from a single piece of solid carbon manganese steel. There's no chance for the handle to get loose or the head to fly off. The head is carefully tempered for greatest hardness. And feel that grip. It's made up of leather rings that are pressed tightly to the handle.
Isn't it just a little bit?
every production line in every factory. From store counters all over the country, representative samples are sent to the Lucky Strike laboratories. Here, predetermined standards must be met, physical as well as chemical. And with respect to physical standards, the laboratory found itself frequently in uncharted waters. Its engineers were called on to design and build testing devices not available from regular instrument makers. This one, a cylinder which tosses the cigarettes back and forth, determines tightness and stability, ensuring against loose ends. Here, a microfilm projector is adapted for measuring width of cut of tobacco. This instrument was designed to measure resistance to airflow, making sure your cigarette puffs freely and easily. And this one, similar in principle as well as appearance, tests the moisture-tight seal of the cellophane jacket. All these tests are based on criteria developed in experimental research, and new standards of quality are constantly being added, because this experimental research never ends. This is a mechanical smoking machine which closely reproduces conditions of human smoking. Careful quantitative studies of the composition of smoke collected by this device led to the establishment of standards of quality, and indications are that continuing research will reveal new criteria and suggest even better methods for quality control. Here, for example, are experiments on the isolation and identification of the ingredients in smoke and tobacco that contribute to aroma. And here you see a Van Slyke apparatus, which is being used to investigate the changes which occur during the aging of tobacco. Recognizing the need for basic research on the physiological aspects of smoking with emphasis on irritation, the American Tobacco Company in 1935 established a research grant at the Medical College of Virginia in Richmond. Facilities such as this biological laboratory were provided for collaborative investigations. Today, in the factories, at the auctions,
Is it all?
Her Highness has a new sweater.
Ooh, it's luscious. You've got to hand it to Sarah. She certainly has good taste.
The way she acts, you'd think nobody else did.
She'll hear you. That's an awfully pretty sweater, Sarah.
Well, don't speak. Were you talking to me? Never mind. Hear nobody, see nobody, talk to nobody. That's Sarah. No wonder she had any friends. Say, and Matson made secretary.
Yeah, Jerry made vice president.
President, Bill Tyler.
That's great. Hey, Bill made president. Jerry made vice president and Matson made secretary.
What's all the excitement?
Oh, it's the results of the election for next year's student council officers. Bill Tyler made president. Hey, let's get on the platter. Oh, sure, okay. I'll see you. I suppose you don't think Bill's the best man for the job? Oh, that girl. She's just sore because we picked Bill's design for the yearbook cover instead of hers. Let's go to class.
I know you shoot us all out of the kitchen, but I don't mind drying dishes. Besides, I wanted to talk to you, Pumpkin.
You did?
You're so quiet during dinner. Something's bothering you. Care to cry on my shoulder?
Daddy, there's nothing to cry about.
Not one little thing?
There are lots of little things we could talk about. But it wouldn't do any good.
I'm waiting.
Oh, all right. You'll think I'm silly. Well, this morning, when I came to class,
I was worried about the history test first period. I was going over it in my mind, and somebody spoke to me. Nancy Yeager. I didn't hear what she said, but she looked at me as if she just hated me. I worked hard on the history test, but I flubbed it. I know there are lots of people in there that don't study half as hard as I do, and they come off with the A's. I'm smarter than they are. I know I am. Last week, I worked just hours and hours on a design for the yearbook cover. Bill Tyler handed in just a blotchy sketch. I couldn't see anything to it. But his design is going to be on the yearbook cover. It isn't fair. This afternoon, Ron from next door called and invited me over Friday night. I had to say yes because Mother's been pressuring me, but I don't want to go. Bill Tyler will be there, and I don't like him. President of Student Council. All the kids that get by on apple polishing will be there, too, and I don't like them.
Punkin, I'm sorry you don't like so many people. Friends are important in this world. You should encourage others to make good and not dislike them for it. I think maybe your mother's right. I think you should go to Ron's get-together this Friday. Try to like people for whatever they are.
That's all the dishes. I can clean out the sink.
Okay, Punkin. Just one more question. All these people you don't like, aren't they happier than you are? Aren't they happier than you are? Aren't they happier than you are?
For you. First choice goes to our new president.
Look at them, playing up to it. Bill Tyler, big man. Everything he does is too clever. Makes me sick. I'm just as good as he is. No, I'm better. He'll get no playing up from me.
Sounds of higher pitch. The different kinds of pipes produce different qualities of sound. The organist uses stops and keys and pedals to admit compressed air into the pipes. Besides woodwind instruments and organ pipes, another mechanism that depends upon a vibrating column of air for its sound is the vocal mechanism of man. Here, sound waves result from vibrations of air that start in the vocal folds of the trachea. These waves are reflected back and forth in the cavities of the mouth, nose, and head, thus producing the complex sounds of speech and song.
Special delivery. The delivery of that which is uncommon, exceptional in character, different from others. Special delivery. Army Air Forces style is designed for a particular function, but unlike other highly specialized functions, is not limited in range, aims, or purposes. During times of war, air power is war power. As destructive as is necessary to destroy the enemy, But AAF planes, large and small, have more than destructive power. They have constructive power greatly beneficial to the nation. Thus, in times of peace, air power is peace power. During war, instantaneous delivery was a daily function. Rear penetrations delivered at a moment's notice to assist pushing, back-breaking assaults of the ground forces sometimes meant the difference between victory and defeat. But AAF special delivery is not confined to war. Disrupted communications broken by the ravages of nature are immediately replaced, no matter how difficult the terrain.
This is worn by millions of Americans. With more theaters, schools, libraries, and museums than any other American city, New York must be ranked as our nation's cultural leader. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, perhaps the greatest center of classical art and learning in America, exerts an influence that is worldwide. While the Museum of Modern Art exhibits displays of modern painting, sculpture, and photography, and is the repository of a unique and valuable motion picture collection. Yet, for all its imposing size and activity, New York is a city of people, and it is the city's people that make it great. Here in New York live people of over 60 different national origins. More Germans than there are in Bremen. More Irish than there are in Dublin. More Italians than there are in Genoa. Here they live together, work together, play, and go to school together. In the tall apartment houses that line Manhattan's Park Avenue live many of New York's wealthier residents. One of the broadest of New York's thoroughfares, it is the main artery of its locality. It is constantly filled with non-commercial traffic. Buses, drays, and trucks are limited to traveling but 2 blocks in one direction in order to make delivery of goods possible. The street itself is supported by gigantic steel stilts above a 2-story railroad yard leading to one of New York's major rail terminals, the Grand Central Station. The borough of Queens, occupying part of Long Island, is perhaps typical of New York's residential areas. Across the East River from Manhattan, it is reached by a number of bridges and tunnels, among them the 59th Street or Queensboro Bridge, and the Queens Midtown Vehicular Tunnel. Morning and evening, as the residents of Queens commute to and from their offices, stores, and places of employment in Manhattan, these